We are watching as countless anti-trans bills are proposed in state legislatures across the country, red states. And I want to talk about one now, specifically the response from a Nebraska Democratic state senator, Michaela Kavanaugh, to an anti-trans bill that was proposed in the Nebraska legislature, and she directly addressed in an incredible fashion her Republican colleagues. Before we get to that, just to kind of discuss a little bit of this first. So the bill was aimed, again, the Nebraska legislature, to ban all gender-affirming care for minors. And what is done, what the game that's played often within these contexts is we'll hear, oh, what do you want 6-year-olds to have their genitals removed and all this wild, dishonest stuff, and just either lying or not at all understanding what is actually happening, what's not happening, what is being advocated on behalf of what isn't, and not understanding that there is a process to make sure that the correct decision is made for kids at the correct time and all that. Okay. And so then they'll use these false stories and false fear-mongering devices to justify doing actions like this, banning all gender-affirming care. What does that mean, though? Let's dive into one part of that. One of the things that would ban is puberty blockers. So just as an example, let's discuss that, then we'll watch this clip. Puberty blockers, number one, reversible. Number two, one of the things that's strange to me often is the way that Republicans have now gotten fixated about, on this subject because of their fixation with trans people. While yes, trans youth will be provided puberty blockers when it's medically necessary, when they've gone through the process and they have gender dysphoria, also for quite a while and to this day, cis youth will be prescribed puberty blockers when they have, precocious puberty, meaning their puberty starts too early and a doctor deems it necessary to give them puberty blockers for their own well-being. And so previously, why weren't Republicans obsessing with that? Puberty blockers, this horrible thing. Why weren't they obsessing with cis youth who were getting prescribed that for their well-being? Because they assumed parents, medical experts were going to make the correct decision for kids when it comes to precocious puberty. So all of a sudden now with trans youth, they don't believe in that process. They don't believe in the safeguards that are already in place and the rights of parents in this situation and all of that. And it's banned everything because we heard a bunch of conspiracy theories about what is and isn't happening and the reality of these different treatments, whether it be puberty blockers or even different hormone treatments, etc. So with all that being said, let's dive into this.
I've been asked a lot. It's no surprise. I've been asked to do a lot of interviews nationally for remarks that I made on this floor. And I've been asked time and again, why do Republicans want this? Colleagues, Democrats, I'd like to speak to the Republicans in the room. Just the Republicans. My answer has always been, this is not a Republican issue. This is not something that Republicans want. I know so many of you. I've served with you for 4 years. I know you. I know your families. I know your hearts. I know that you are caring, kind, and compassionate people who are here to do public service. And I am asking you to pay attention to this debate, to pay attention to this conversation. Open your hearts and your minds and think about what brought you here to begin with. What did you believe government should be? How did you believe government should function? So many of you have talked to me about government overreach time and time again, big government, inflated government, parental rights. This bill stands in opposition to the tenets that many of you have expressed to me are at the foundation of why you are here. It will not be popular to vote against this, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. And I know many of you have voted against things that were not popular in the past. And I know that you have a heart for service, and I ask that you use that heart for service in this debate. And to those of you that are watching, who are part of the LGBTQ community, the trans community, you are loved, you matter. I am here to serve you. Thank you.
100%. Absolutely. Well said by Michaela Kavanaugh there. And it really is dangerous, the demonization that comes of it, this being against the rights of many individuals, parents, the trans youth, and just us respecting the consensus of the medical community in these different cases. And it is a violation of their own principles when they talk about parental rights, and just in every way, it's backwards. And we're seeing so many of these bills that will not yield good outcomes. But that's just where we are. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get the extra bonus show on Saturdays, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. Link in the description.